The Republic begins with Book 1 on the search for justice. It starts a question that seems simple but proves remarkably difficult. What is justice? The conversation opens casually. Socrates has gone down to the Pyrenees with Glaucon to see the festival. On their way back, they're intercepted by Polemarchus and his group, who playfully insist they stay for dinner and evening celebrations. At Polemarchus's house, they find his father Cephalus, a retired businessman, now in old age. Socrates and Cephalus begin talking about old age and wealth. Cephalus suggests that wealth's main advantage is that it allows you to be just, to pay your debts, tell the truth, make proper sacrifices to the gods. This leads naturally to the question, what is justice? Cephalus offers the first definition. Justice is telling the truth and paying back what you owe. It's the conventional morality of a successful, pious businessman who wants to face death and the afterlife with a clear conscience. Socrates immediately identifies the problem. Suppose you borrowed a weapon from a friend who has now gone insane. Should you return it? If justice always means giving back what you owe, you'd have to give a sword to a madman. But that seems wrong, so justice can't simply be paying debts. Cephalus exits the conversation. He has sacrifices to perform. And his son Polemarchus takes over. Polemarchus refines the definition. Justice is giving each person what is owed to them. And what's owed? Help to friends, harm to enemies. This is more sophisticated. It sounds like the warrior's code of loyalty to allies and strength against foes. Socrates probes this definition systematically. First, what about mistakes? We sometimes think someone is a friend when they're actually harmful to us, or vice versa. Should we help apparent friends or real friends? If real friends, then justice requires wisdom to identify them. If apparent friends, then we might be helping bad people.
Second, and more fundamentally, can it ever be just to harm anyone? Socrates argues that harming people makes them worse, but justice is a virtue. It makes things better, not worse. A just person should make others more just, not less just. Therefore, deliberately harming anyone, even enemies, can't be the work of a just person. Polemarchus is persuaded, but now Thrasymachus erupts into the conversation. He's been listening impatiently, and he's had enough of this careful questioning. Justice, he declares bluntly, is nothing but the advantage of the stronger. This is the cynical realist position, and Thrasymachus articulates it forcefully. Look at any actual city, he says. Whoever holds power makes laws to benefit themselves. Democracy makes democratic laws. Tyranny makes tyrannical laws. Oligarchy makes oligarchic laws. In every case, the rulers define justice as whatever serves their interests. They called obedience to these laws justice and punished disobedience as injustice, but it's all just a tool of power. The whole idea of justice as something noble or virtuous is naive, Thrasymachus argues. In reality, the unjust person, the one who takes more than their share, who breaks rules when profitable, who looks out for themselves, ends up better off. The perfectly unjust person who can get away with injustice is happier than the just person who follows the rules. This is the real challenge of Book 1, and it's the challenge the Republic as a whole must answer. Why should we be just? If we could get away with injustice, wouldn't we be better off? Socrates responds with several arguments. First, he examines what it means to be a true practitioner of any craft. A doctor practices medicine for the benefit of the patient, not primarily for their own profit. A ship's captain navigates for the safety of the crew and passengers, not for personal gain. Similarly, a true ruler governs for the benefit of those ruled. If someone rules only for their own advantage, they're not really exercising the craft of ruling, they're just exploiting their position.
Thrasymachus objects that this is idealistic nonsense. In the real world, rulers do benefit themselves. Socrates grants this, but insists there's a difference between true ruling and what actual rulers often do. We should distinguish the craft itself from its corrupted practice. Second, Socrates argues that even among criminals, some form of justice is necessary. A band of thieves couldn't function if they constantly betrayed and armed each other. Injustice creates conflict and faction. Even to do injustice successfully, you need some justice among your co-conspirators. Third, Socrates suggests that everything has its proper function and corresponding excellence or virtue. The eye's function is seeing, and good sight is its virtue. The pruning knife's function is pruding, and sharpness is its virtue. What's the soul's function? Living, deliberating, governing one's life. And justice is the soul's virtue, the excellence that allows it to perform its function well. An unjust soul is a defective soul, like a dull knife or a weak eye, and a defective soul can't live well. Therefore, the just person lives well and is happy, while the unjust person lives badly and is miserable. But Socrates himself isn't fully satisfied with these arguments. He's defended justice, but he hasn't really explained what justice is. At the end of Book 1, he admits this frustration. They've been arguing about whether justice is good without first establishing what justice actually is. It's like debating whether something tastes good before determining what it is. This sets up the rest of the Republic. To truly answer Thrasymachus' challenge, to show why justice is better than injustice, Socrates needs to show what justice is. And to do that, he proposes an ambitious project. Let's construct an ideal city in words. If we can see what justice looks like in a city, something large and visible, perhaps we can understand what it looks like in an individual soul. Book 1 is a masterpiece of philosophical method. Plato shows how seemingly reasonable definitions crumble under questioning. He introduces the sophistic challenge that justice is a sham, and he sets up the fundamental question that will drive the entire work. What is justice, and why should we be just?